They're not playing fair. They never intended to. And every time you react emotionally, explain yourself, or try to be the bigger person, you are actually playing their game by their rules. Today we change the board. These are not tips. They are not tricks. This is a complete doctrine. The 10 ruthless laws to not just counter a dirty player, but to dismantle the entire game they rely on. You believe your explanation will bring clarity. Machiavelli would recognize it as a surrender of your frame. You think negotiating with a bad faith actor is a path to peace. He would tell you it is a path to slow-motion bankruptcy. He didn't offer motivation. He offered a manual for the anatomy of influence. He exposed that most social conflicts are won long before the first word is spoken, decided by the structure of the environment and the control of information. By the end of this, you will not just survive their current attack. You will reposition yourself so far above the conflict that they lose the literal capacity to launch another. If you value your social standing, law number 4 is your only fortress. But if you are ready to ensure they never have the resources to even speak your name again, law number 9 is the only move that matters. Listen closely. The version of you that was easy to play is about to be deleted. Every time you engage with a dirty player on their level, you are financing your own destruction. You think you are fighting back, but you are actually just providing the raw materials they need to keep the machine running. They don't need to be right. They just need you to be loud. They don't need to win the argument. They just need to occupy your headspace until you are too exhausted to resist. You have been playing a game where your honesty is a target and your empathy is a weakness. It is time to stop being a participant and start being a strategist. We begin by cutting the lines of communication that keep you tethered to their chaos. 1. The law of emotional asphyxiation. Starve them of the reaction they need. Your calm is their confusion. When they expect fire, give them ice. A dirty player thrives on your emotional fuel. Cut the supply, and their strategy suffocates. Most people make the mistake of trying to fight fire with fire. You think that by showing them how much they've hurt you, or by shouting louder than they do, you will force them to see your perspective. You won't. You are simply giving them a larger target to hit. Machiavelli understood that the man who reveals his passion reveals his position. By showing emotion, you are handing them a map of your internal fortress. You are showing them exactly where the walls are thin and where the gates are loose. When they expect fire, you must give them ice, not a fake calm that masks a boiling interior, because they can smell that, but a clinical, absolute detachment. Imagine a situation where someone is trying to humiliate you in front of others. They use a joke that isn't a joke, or they accidentally mention a failure from your past. Your instinct is to defend, to explain, or to snap back. That is exactly what they have scripted for you. If you snap back, you look unstable. If you explain, you look guilty. If you stay silent and look hurt, you look defeated. Instead, you apply the law of emotional asphyxiation. You look at them with the same blank curiosity you would use to examine a strange insect on a window pane. You don't smile, you don't frown, you let their words hang in the air until the silence becomes heavy for them. When you refuse to react, the dirty player experiences a psychological misfire. Their brain has prepared for a specific payoff, your anger, and when it doesn't arrive, they begin to panic internally. They will try harder. They will move from subtle jabs to overt aggression. This is the moment they begin to expose themselves. By starving them of the reaction they need, you force them to overinvest. They become the loud one. They become the desperate one. You are no longer a participant in their game. You are the observer of their collapse. Your calm is not a retreat. It is a vacuum that sucks the power out of their presence. You are teaching them, without saying a word, that their weapons do not reach you. And once a manipulator realizes they can no longer pull your strings, they stop being a puppeteer and start becoming a performer with no audience. Machiavelli understood that the most dangerous weapon in any conflict is not the sword, but the spirit of the opponent. If you can break the opponent's internal composure, the external battle is already won. The law of emotional asphyxiation is the clinical removal of that supply. It is the realization that your calm is their greatest confusion. When they expect fire, you must give them ice. not a cold shoulder that reeks of passive aggression. That's still an emotional reaction. You must give them a tactical void. Think about the last time someone tried to bait you. Maybe it was a backhanded compliment in front of your peers, or a text message designed to make you panic at 11 p.m. Your heart rate spiked, your thumbs hovered over the keyboard, ready to defend your honor. That physical reaction is exactly what they were banking on. If you respond in that state, you lose. To apply this law, you must become a black hole for their energy. When they throw a jab, it must land on nothing. You look at them with the same level of interest you would give to a weather report in a city you don't live in. You offer grey rock responses. I see. That's an interesting perspective. Or simply a slow, deliberate blink. By refusing to emote, you force the manipulator to escalate. They will try harder. They will get louder. They will say more outrageous things to get a rise out of you. This is the extinction burst. It is the moment they become desperate because the machine has stopped working. In their desperation to provoke you, they will begin to make mistakes. They will overextend. They will say things they can't take back in front of people who matter. While they are suffocating from a lack of your emotional oxygen, you are simply observing. You are no longer the victim of the drama. You are the scientist watching a specimen struggle in a jar. You aren't being nice. You are being unreachable. 2. The law of mirror force. Reflect their attack. Don't absorb it. If they use manipulation, expose the mechanism publicly as their tactic. If they use aggression, channel it back as evidence of their instability. Make their weapon their wound. Most people respond to a dirty move by trying to absorb it. They take the insult, they feel the sting, and then they try to crawl away or explain why the person was wrong. This is defensive behavior, and in the world of power, the defensive side is the losing side. The law of mirror force dictates that you never absorb an attack, you reflect it. You make their weapon their wound, you stop being the target and start being the mirror that forces them to look at their own ugliness. If someone uses manipulation against you, you don't argue with the lie, you expose the mechanism. If a coworker tries to take credit for your work in a meeting, don't get defensive and say, "Actually, I did that." That sounds like a child begging for a gold star. Instead, you reflect the move back onto them with a clinical question. That's an interesting summary, but since you're presenting the data, could you walk us through the specific methodology used in Phase 3? I'm sure the team would love to hear your deep dive into the raw numbers. You haven't called them a liar. You've simply invited them to prove they aren't one. When they stumble and reveal they have no substance, the mirror has done its job. Their attempt to steal your light has only highlighted their own shadow. A dirty player relies on the shadow frame. They operate in the gray areas of implication, tone, and double meanings. They never say the insult directly. They wrap it in concern or advice. If you ignore it, they win. If you get angry, they win. The law of mirror force requires you to drag the mechanism into the light. You don't argue with the content of what they said. You describe the tactic they are using, clinically and publicly. If they use a gaslighting technique, you don't say that's not true. You say, it's interesting that you're attempting to reframe the timeline of what happened. Why is that necessary for you right now? By naming the move, you destroy its power. Manipulation only works when it is invisible. The moment you label the maneuver, the other person is forced to defend their character instead of attacking yours. You are mirroring their aggression back to them as evidence of their own instability. If they are shouting, you don't shout back. You pause and say, your volume suggests you're losing control of your argument. Do you need a moment to settle down? You have taken their power move and turned it into a weakness indicator. You have shifted the focus from your supposed flaw to their obvious lack of composure. Machiavelli noted that a prince should never appear to be the aggressor, even when he is dealing the final blow. You must maintain the appearance of the reasonable party while the other person is forced into the role of the unstable antagonist. If they use aggression, you don't meet it with aggression. You meet it with a heightened, terrifyingly calm level of observation. If they raise their voice, you lower yours. If they lean in, you sit back. This contrast makes them look like they are losing their mind, while you look like you are in total control of the room. The mirror force is about transparency. Dirty players thrive in the fog of he said, she said. They want things to stay vague so they can twist the truth later. You reflect their tactics into the light by labeling them in real time. Use phrases like, "It seems like you're trying to make this personal to avoid discussing the actual project requirements," or, "I noticed you only bring up these concerns when there are observers present. Why is that?" By naming the game, you kill the game. You aren't attacking them, you are simply describing what they are doing. A manipulator cannot survive when their script is being read aloud by the person they are trying to manipulate. You are making the cost of attacking you higher than the reward of the win. You have spent enough time wondering why they are doing this to you. Stop asking why and start asking how. Once you see the how, you can break the mechanism. You have been the bigger person for too long, and all it has gotten you is a seat at a table where you are on the menu. These first two laws are about cutting the strings. You are no longer the puppet, you are the one who is about to collapse the stage.